Welcome to Franchise Marketing Radio, brought to you by SEO SAMBA. Comprehensive high-performing marketing solutions for mature and emerging franchise brands. To supercharge your franchise marketing, go to SEOSamba.com. That's SEOSAMBA.com.
Welcome to Franchise Marketing Radio. Stone Payton Lee Cantor here with you this morning. Today's episode is brought to you in part by the Business Radio X Studio Partner Program, equipping franchisors to help franchisees dominate their local market. To learn more about serving your market and growing your business, go to mybrxstudio.com. Lee, this is going to be a fantastic segment. Please join me in welcoming to the broadcast with Fresh Coat Painters of South Fulton, Unique, and Brandon Ottley. Good morning, gang.
Good morning.
Good
How you
morning.
doing?
We are doing great. Before we get too far into things, can you share a little bit about Fresh Coat? How you serving folks?
Well, pretty much Fresh Coat Painters is a one-stop franchise. Pretty much we deal with commercial, residential painting. So, I mean, we cover the whole gambit. Residential
inside
contracts,
and outside?
Interior, exterior, cabinet painting, light drywall repair. So pretty much we want everything to be a one-stop shop. You know, the painting industry is kind of scattered. Some people don't, really see it as being something condensed. So we're trying to go ahead and bring that aspect of, having someone to provide a service for you right there without you having to go and get different people from different areas. So,
but it's all around painting.
Correct.
Now, how did you find out about it?
Pretty much, we were avid readers of Entrepreneur magazine. So pretty much every year they come out with the, list of top franchises, their franchise 500 list.
Right.
So pretty much through research and, kind of looking and comparing, other services and other industries, we felt that the painting service industry was pretty much a good go around because, hey, eventually everyone is going to need
that's something everybody paints. And they don't want to do it themselves. The hassle and
very time
takes so much time.
Correct.
Now, what was the impetus that drew you to a franchise? Like you had your own careers prior to this?
Correct. With the franchise model, pretty much, you're looking at a franchise based off the fact that there's already a system set in place for you.
Right.
So pretty much the groundwork is already covered. And hey, I mean, that's what you're paying that franchise fee for.
Sure.
It's for the, I wouldn't say convenience, but the aspect of you having to build something from the ground up.
They already have the systems in place, right?
Correct. So, we just want to get into something, and not have to worry about, that ground up, the build up. We just want to get in
and just start.
Right.
Now, were you deciding among several different choices and then eventually landed on Fresh Coat, or was Fresh Coat, you saw that and you're like, oh, this is it. This makes perfect sense.
Well, in terms of the painting industry, it was just Fresh Coat. Once we kind of made the decision on what type of
they became industry. The obvious choice.
But, in terms of franchising, everyone always gravitates towards the restaurants, the food industry.
So restaurants is usually where people start looking?
Well, I mean, with franchise, that's the first thing that normally comes, like McDonald's.
Right. So were you looking at restaurants first?
Lightly, going around, because, that's the first thing we kind of gravitated to once we wanted to look at the franchise option. So, after seeing, other industries and, the restaurant industry during the recession, we felt that, maybe we want to go a different avenue.
Right.
So then that's when we went ahead and started looking at the services. And the painting just came to mind because, like I said before earlier, eventually you're going to need it done.
Right.
And it's very time consuming for people to do it on their own.
Had you ever painted on your own?
Right. Yeah, definitely. And that's how we learned, hey, This is not something that.
And also that's what sparked the interest as well. Us painting and just seeing the ins and out of what needs to be done. And, the experience we had of finding an actual painter that can paint our home. A lot of painters were inconsistent. They didn't show up
They're
on
not
time.
reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly. And we wanted to just, be able to provide that experience to the community, painters that are on time, on budget, and do painting right.
Now, is part of what you get when you work with Fresh Coat do they teach you how to paint? Like, is there a right way and a wrong way to paint a house or paint a room?
Well, pretty much the basics. Because you're going to need to know some type of information for the service that you're providing. So in terms of painting, there is a very, I want to say like a training or, giving you an overview on things to look for in terms of good quality, because that's what we want to focus on is like quality work, quality paint, right? You got to use the right materials. Correct. So what materials are used, what surfaces, the correct techniques. And another big aspect of the painting industry is a lot of the different devices and tools that they have that can actually make the job more efficient. So there's a good training, a good overall aspect, learning about what to look for, because, hey, in order for us to provide good quality, we need that foundation.
Sure. And that's what you're getting. That's what you get when you choose to be a franchisee, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Now, is this a franchise where you have to do the painting or do you hire other painters?
No, we go ahead and we find and hire an actual crew. So we pretty much, start from the ground up. We look for our lead painters. We look for our project managers, our project leads. So we have a crew, and pretty much the crew are the ones that will be going out and doing the job.
And you're the salespeople and the operations people?
Correct.
Yes.
So mainly we're dealing with operations. In the beginning, you're going to be doing a little bit of everything. Sales, operation, going from site to site. But for the most part, we hire, employees, which is a lot different from subcontracting. We're just not going to pull somebody from Home Depot,
is that
off
what
the street.
Is that what people do?
For that stack of business cards, right?
And we call those chuck in the truck. That random. Yeah.
And then, so that's why a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth, because those people tend not to be the most reliable, or they sound good. They convince you to spend the money, and then you may not see them again, and you're like, "What?"
Correct.
You got a half-done job.
Correct. And that's what we're here for. We're here to educate the consumer
and provide a consistent experience as well.
Right. So now, when you hire these people, you then have to train them, right, to do it the Fresh Coat way.
Correct. Because when you've been in the industry for a certain amount of time, you have certain ways that,
right, your standards, right?
Yeah, you're kind of stuck in certain habits. So, when we bring them aboard, hey, we let them know what we expect, because we don't want to have anyone on board that's stuck in their ways,
right?
Because we want to provide the quality of service where we'll be your number one painter for years to come,
right?
So, we do have a system set up to pretty much train the staff and to let them know, hey, listen, we have a quality, a standard that we abide by. And, we want everyone to go ahead and pretty much follow that standard so we can provide that service.
And we also do refresher trainings and also like best practices as well, just to continue to improve the painters that we do have.
Now, is that the biggest challenge, is choosing the right employees? Because they are representing your brand, because you're not there. They're in the house. Correct.
With any industry right now, the hardest thing is finding, good workers. There's quantity. The quantity is easy to come by, but the quality is the challenge. So pretty much, we have a system set up to where, hey, we'll put, a painter, or we'll put an employee on a probationary status, and we'll view, their work. We'll put them on smaller projects and see how they operate. And pretty much we go through an interview process. So, a lot of people will look and say, wow, you're interviewing painters, but that's the service that we want to provide. We want to make sure that the people that we have on staff is doing quality work, and that's one of the things that we do. We put people on a system so we can go ahead and observe their quality, because it's very hard to find good quality work. So that's something that we pride ourselves on.
Now, do you have any advice for the person out there that is hiring their first person? Any tips, like how to pick the right person? Because that seems critical. If you get this wrong, they could screw up the whole job and your reputation.
Correct.
I would say trust your gut. Watch for red flags, look for inconsistencies.
What's a red flag when you see it? You're like,
if they're late,
if they're late for the interview,
right?
That's right there.
They'll be late for the job.
They're out right there.
If they show interest, that's very important as well, because you can show up, but you may not be 100% dedicated. And
like enthusiastic, right?
Mm-hmm. What would you say? What else, Brandon?
I mean, just observe, people's demeanor. I mean, you could tell a lot from first impression. So just the whole demeanor, I mean, if they see that they're excited about the opportunity, once we present, what we do offer, then, just observe the person's demeanor and pretty much you could pick up a lot, before you actually have them go and come aboard and work on larger, bigger projects.
So, and then what I'm hearing you say is to start small, like give them a little, where they're not in front of your biggest client.
Correct.
You give them a little project. Let's see how they do.
Observe.
Make sure they're on time. They're respectful. They're smiling, happy, and you got a happy client. It's easier to trust them the second time.
It's all about observation.
Right.
Correct.
So you spend a lot of your time doing that, like kind of observing and then.
Correct. I mean, in the beginning, like I said before, you're doing a lot of the groundwork yourself in the beginning, but then once you go ahead and you find that one individual that you can trust.
Right.
Then you could go ahead and promote
now
them
you
up
can now kind of scale a little bit.
Then have them take on a lot of the responsibilities that you were doing yourself. So once you find that good quality painter and there's a person that you can trust, then you can go ahead and promote them. And then that's why we want people here, because they see it as an opportunity of growth.
Right.
So once you provide someone with an opportunity of growth, hey, they're going to perform for you because they see that, hey, you respect them, you value them, and they can grow with the company.
Now, what's your favorite part about being part of this business?
The favorite part is probably just dealing with the clients, because I'm always observing, so once we in the field, we're constantly speaking, talking, and hey, you meet some interesting people out there.
Sure. It's a big city.
So, I mean, that's one of the things that I do enjoy, just definitely just talking to people, I mean, hey, small talk, hey, hey, about the family, kids, children, I mean, it's not always about painting. I mean, we are providing service. So
right. It's human beings talking to human beings, right?
Correct. We just don't want it to be a mechanical experience. We want it to be an actual communication type of experience, something that's lacking in today's society, just communicating. So that's the one thing that I enjoy, just the communication with people.
Now, how do you kind of divide and conquer the work of the day? Like, Brandon, do you specialize in one part of the business and then Unique, you do another part, or do you just kind of join forces?
We kind of split it up. So I'm more on the admin side, operations. He's more in the field, and working with the team and on a project specifically. Yeah.
Now, what's it like working together this closely? Because it's 24/7, right? It's not like when you had separate jobs, you would do your thing, and you would get together at night.
Well, we're married, so we're a team regardless.
Right.
So this is just another segment that we get to work together with, and I think we work well.
Now, any advice for married couples out there doing a franchise? Is that a fun thing? Is it challenging? What are some of the challenges in this?
I mean, it helps bring you closer, but it can also bring you further apart depending on what type of industry you're in. So, I mean, one of the good things about this is that, hey, I mean, there is some downtime, so, I mean, it's time for you to go ahead and kind of get together and, brainstorm.
Right.
So it's not a constant everyday, all night, type of operation. So, I mean, there's pretty much areas when we have downtime where we can go ahead and discuss and brainstorm and come up, with, new ideas. So,
right.
So, I mean, that's one of the good things about it. If you have some downtime, I mean, take advantage of it, because in that way you can go ahead and communicate with one another and be able to come up with new ideas.
Now, the franchise is Fresh Coat based here in Atlanta, or they're based in another part of the country?
They are based in Cincinnati.
In Cincinnati,
yes.
Ohio. And then, are they easy to work with? Are you enjoying that relationship? Like if you have a problem, can you call them? You get,
Yeah, I feel like they set you up to succeed. You get a business coach. So weekly you have weekly coaches with, weekly meetings with your business coach to kind of look for any opportunities or, try to provide you just some information that currently what may be going on in the industry. All the information that you get is consistent across all parties, whether those are other franchise owners, other, owners of the franchise.
Were there other Fresh Coat people here in the Metro Atlanta area, or are you the only game in town when it comes to Fresh Coat?
Correct. In the Metro Atlanta area, we have about 4 other franchisees. So, we have one in Beaufort, we have one in Cumming, Alpharetta, another one in Marietta. So we are the pretty much the first ones in the actual city of Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
So pretty much anything within the actual city, we cover. So as a franchise as a whole, there's a number of different locations, from California all the way up to, upstate New York. So
did you call them before you decided to do that? Did you call some of the franchisees to see what's it like?
Correct. That's one of the good things about making the decision is that they pretty much align you with other franchisees that you can go ahead and speak with.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to speak with one, down in Texas, kind of ask, her about her operations, how did she get into it, what industry she came from. So then that way you can make an informed decision on, is this the route that you want to go.
Now, since you've been doing this, how important is it to really kind of immerse yourself in the community? Like you're based in South Fulton, right? That's where where you live, I guess. Is that something where you have to get involved with the chamber and the churches and the schools just so that you get your name out?
Correct. The Chamber of Commerce, do have one down in South Fulton.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good source, a good outlet, especially with the churches. Community work is a big thing because, one of our main aspects is just educating the consumer, because a lot of people, we have a lot of millennials now that are owning homes.
Right.
So, one of the things that we want to get out, to the consumer, to the client is, just educate them about, things that you want to do when you're looking for a contractor or a company to hire to do a job for you. So the community aspect is a big, thing that we harp on.
And I did want to say we currently have a community service project that we are doing for people in our community. So there is a link on our website if they would like to apply for a free painting service if they qualify.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you do that as just serving the community? That's very generous.
We call it Painting Forward or Fresh Coat Cares. Yes.
Wow. And then they just apply? And then would they have to write something that says why they're worthy of this, and then you choose somebody to be, and you pay?
Exactly. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And that could be like a church, or it could be
a church, a family, single mother, business.
How do you pick? That must be so hard.
Whoever qualifies,
whoever makes
most,
you cry.
Yes. We need someone that makes us cry.
Wow. Because there's probably a lot of need, right?
Correct. So that's a big aspect that we want to be a community name, And like I said before, when it comes to the service industry, contracting industry, painting industry, hey, we want to make a good impression and have a good reputation because we just want to be known and seen and, in the community. So that's a big thing.
If you're just now joining us, you're listening to Franchise Marketing Radio. Our guests today are Unique and Brandon Ottley with Fresh Coat Painters of South Fulton. So a couple of questions. You touched on just a moment ago, educating people in the community. And I got to thinking, boy, I'm one of those people that need to be educated. I don't have the first clue about the right questions to even ask a prospective person who I might want to engage to paint, do drywall, any of those things. Are there some go-to questions or things I should look for just so I can have a reasonably competent conversation with someone I'm thinking about hiring?
Correct. One of the first questions you should always ask, just dealing with any contractor, is if, are you insured? Because, a lot of situations where someone will come into a property, workers, contractors, subcontractors, and, hey, it happens. A mistake, an accident, someone may get hurt, something may get damaged. One of the big things is that a lot of people are not insured. they're not bonded, or they may not have workers' comp.
All right. So what are the implications of that? Somebody gets hurt out trying to work on staining my deck, which it does need to be stained, by the way, just FYI. And they get hurt. That could come back on me, right?
Correct. That as a homeowner, if that individual company or contractor doesn't have workers' compensation, or they're not insured, that person or that worker that got hurt, they can come back and sue you. You may have a lawsuit on your hands where, hey, this person got injured and now they're suing you for their medical bills or their medical payments. So a lot of contractors, a lot of companies don't provide that aspect.
Chuck in a truck, rings my doorbell, says, hey, I'll stain your deck for half of what everybody else was. That's a red flag.
Yes, that's definitely a red flag.
You know what, Chuck? Show me your insurance thingy.
Correct.
Okay, good. What's another question or something to look for?
I would ask for portfolio, just so you can get a feel for their quality of work, and also ask for references.
Another aspect is a warranty. I mean, with the deck staining, that's one thing. Your deck is in the elements. So now it's wintertime. The weather's, cool, raining. So, hey, somebody gets their deck stained today and you have a, bad storm come the next day or the next week. If it wasn't done properly, or there wasn't enough time for the stain to settle and cure, because, hey, weather's unpredictable sometimes. It may be a little bit difficult for you to get in touch with that previous contractor if they didn't provide a warranty for you. So you may give them a call and, hey, guess what? Once you paid them, they're gone. Right. You're not going to get in contact with them anymore because, hey, they don't provide a warranty on their work. So that's another aspect, finding out, hey, do you provide a warranty on your work? Because, things do happen.
Now, how do you get your business? Is it word of mouth? Does that franchisor help you get the business, or do you have to be super active on social media and be involved in the community? Like, how do jobs come your way?
Correct. When it comes to business, in the contracting industry, word of mouth is the first thing that pretty much gravitates a lot of business towards you. So is referrals. But, when you're new in the industry, of course, you may not be, provided opportunity because, you're new. So a lot of people don't know who you are.
Sure.
So, of course, going back to, franchise and the brand, Google is a real big aspect.
Right.
Today.
So people look up painters.
So, correct. So if you have that brand and that following behind you, especially, a brand that's known, you go on Google, someone does a Google search, hey, they're going to pick you over the company that they never heard of before.
You've gotten calls, people just find you on the internet?
Correct.
That's a good feeling, right?
Correct.
The phone just rings?
Family. Yeah, family is another aspect. Hey, they got a new painting business. Hey, we need something done. So,
were you don't sound like you're from here. That's not a Southern accent.
Yeah, we're both from New York.
Right. Now, do you have a lot of family here, though?
Correct. We have a lot of family, that's, moved down here. So I have a good support system, in terms of family and relatives to have, And
then you do a good job for them and they tell their friends.
Correct. So the referrals, the internet, Google searches, that's a big aspect. And then once you get, your following, hey, people see that, hey, they got some skin in the game.
And there's some momentum then.
Then there goes the referrals. And
right.
That's why it's so crucial to have that good foundation in the beginning.
So now, how do you expand and how do you grow? Is it something you open up a second franchise, or if you get a good crew, you say, okay, you now do this, and then we're going to go to Macon, or we'll take over the South. Like, how do you expand beyond what you got?
Correct. So they have territories. So of course, with a franchise, you're always assigned, a set territory.
So you have, is your territory South Fulton, or is it the Metro?
So it'll be Southwest Atlanta. So pretty much right now, since, we're the sole, franchise within the actual city of Atlanta, we pretty much cover everything from Southwest Atlanta all the way over to East Atlanta. And then we may go down as far south as Hampton, Jonesboro, Riverdale. So, pretty much we cover from Southwest all the way over to East Atlanta, those neighborhoods within that Atlanta, area, we pretty much cover. So it works by territories, but, once you go ahead and you get a solid, footing and a good feel for a certain area, a certain neighborhood, then of course, you can go ahead and start marketing and branding within.
So like once you start doing work in one place, then you put signs up and say, hey, we're painting here. And then you can offer deals to other people.
Correct.
Because you already sent the crew there.
Correct. You know, if it's something that's near your territory,
right.
Pretty much, you know, you're able to cover it. So, you know, by us being, you know, within this Atlanta, you know, in the actual city, you know, it gives us a pretty good.
There's a lot of
ground
houses.
to cover.
Definitely, yeah.
Do you do more residential or commercial?
Definitely more residential. You know, the commercial contracts, you know, they're pretty good. But, you know, of course, you know, within the city of Atlanta, you know, you have a lot of homes.
Right.
You know,
but that's the bread and butter is the
so,
houses, condos, houses.
Correct. You know, you have so many people moving down here now. The population is growing every day.
Yeah. There's a new house being built everywhere.
You know, the residentials, you know, the realtors, the property managers.
So you got to know more realtors, because when they are about to sell the house, they got to paint it, right? To get it ready for sale.
Correct.
So,
those relationships are very vital. Correct.
So how do you do like outreach to real estate agents? That's one of the more real estate agents you know, the better, right?
Correct. So pretty much, you know, of course, we purchased a home in the past. So the first person that we pretty much went, you know, the contact who was a realtor was, you know, the individual that helped us purchase a home.
That makes sense.
So, I mean, pretty much, you know, once we go from there, we contacted them. Hey, they could put us in touch with, you know, other avenues, you know, to where we could find and contact and speak with other realtors. So, I mean, our first realtor, you know, that came to our mind was, you know, the one that helped us, you know, to buy our home.
Now, did you get business from that person?
Pretty much referrals.
They refer
referrals,
right?
You know, because I mean, sometimes at that moment they may not be dealing with the client, or they may not have a particular property that they need painted, but they always know other individuals that, hey, I worked with them before. They may need some of your services.
Right.
And we also joined a BNI, a business network.
Leads Club.
Yes. So it has different professionals and different industries, and, you know, we're able to provide leads to them, and they provide leads to us as well.
Now, Stone mentioned like decks. Do you do that? Is that part of it, or you just do? So you do decks. So you like pressure wash, clean it, and then stain it. So
correct. The pressure washing, staining.
Right. That's all part of the services that you offer.
Correct. So it's just more than just the interior, exterior painting. You know, because, you know, when it comes to painting, you know, people just think of slapping paint on the walls. But I mean, there's a whole another aspect to it. You know, there's drywall, sheetrock. Right. There's popcorn ceiling. There's lead abatement. So I mean, those are services that we do provide.
Now, what about like, do you do like flooring or just painting? Like if somebody says, like they have a hardwood floor and they want it refinished, do you do that?
Flooring, we have people that we work with that we can go ahead and refer. So that's a good thing about the service industry, is that we have partners that, hey, we don't cover that particular aspect of the project. We can refer you to a carpenter. We can refer you to a flooring specialist.
Because that's you're serving the home, so you want to know who's best in class in all these different areas, so you all refer to each other, right?
Correct. We work with people before, and we know their quality of work, so if you need something done in particular, we can refer you and steer you down the right path.
Now, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you to learn more, is there a website just for your location, or do they have to go to the Fresh Coat Painters main website?
Correct. We do have a website, pretty much specific to our location. So it'll be freshcoatpainters.com/south-Fulton. And pretty much we also have a Facebook page. We have a Google page. So once you type in Fresh Coat Painters of South Fulton, then
all that stuff comes up.
Our Google profile will come up. And also on Facebook, you can do a search, Fresh Coat Painters of South Fulton, and you'll have our page for our specific location up here.
And then they could just call you to ask you questions. There's no charge for that, right? Or is there a charge for you to come out and just kind of look at the thing?
No, the quotes are free. So we pretty much provide free quotes. So, hey, if you need a free quote, there's no charge to the customer. We'll come out, sit down with you 30 or 40 minutes, discuss about your project. And, hey, you can ask us any kind of questions that you want, and we'll be there to answer them for you.
And then how quickly, if I said, okay, can you do my deck, how long does it take for you to kind of put it in the books and then get it?
It depends on the time of the year. You know, normally around this time, the winter time, about a 1 to 2 week turnaround. But, you know, once you start approaching the spring, it's best to get busy. It's best to get on that schedule early.
All right. One more time, the website.
It will be freshcoatpainters.com/south /South-Fulton.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for sharing your story today.
Thank you for having us.
All right. This is Lee Cantor for Stone Payton. We will see you all next time on Franchise Marketing Radio.